for your non-true crime video, and Let's Not Meet one. So that's what we're going to do today. I don't read these stories ahead of time, I just sort of glance at them. So I don't know what's in them, and some of them aren't written the best. I have just tried to record one and it was written so not great, I don't want to say but badly, but it wasn't easy to understand or read, so I've had to start recording again with a different one. So yeah, just bear with me. So this first one is called "A Random Guy Saved Me from Being Drugged." This happened this Saturday, 2 days ago. I'm a 19-year-old freshman at uni who moved from a fairly small town to a big city. There was a guy I talked to over Tinder for around 2 weeks. He was cute and seemed nice. We had a lot in common. He even studied at the same university. He was a lot older though. He already had a degree and was now doing post-grad. The first time we ever met, we went out to grab a coffee on Monday, exactly a week ago. I had a great time, and when he asked me if I'd like to go get drinks on Saturday, I happily said yes. We met up at a local bar and talked without a moment of awkwardness for 2 hours. We really clicked. I had to go to the bathroom, and when I came back, a man was waiting for me outside the toilet. He stopped me and told me the guy sitting at my table had put something in my drink and asked if I wanted him to call the police. I thanked him but said no, everything's fine, and went back to my table. I really liked the guy and wanted to believe that the random man was just pranking me. Still, I wasn't willing to risk it, so I told him directly what happened. I said, "I'm sorry, this is going to sound insane, but after I got out the bathroom, some random guy told me you put something in my drink." He laughed and said that's insane, as if we were giggling at the situation together. He wasn't serious about it at all. I apologised and said I don't think he did that, not at all, but I'd be much more at peace if he chugged my drink just so I'd know the random guy was pranking me, because nothing like this has ever happened to me before. I apologised again and said the drinks were on me and I'm very sorry to make the situation awkward. He said that's absolutely not a problem. He just had to go pee first. I waited. After 15 minutes, I realised he's not coming back. I waited around for a little bit longer, and after half an hour, I paid and went home. Upon getting home, I checked my Tinder and saw he deleted his account. Okay, maybe he thought I'm so insane our date made him delete the app. Still, it bothered me. I googled him and found nothing. Today, I went to the records office at my uni and asked if a person with his name was studying here. his name has ever obtained a degree here. He lied to me. He told me he did his undergraduate degree at my uni. He hasn't. Or, alternatively, he told me a fake name. I'm now sure that he had terrible intentions and did spike my drink. I was more than lucky that someone noticed. I have no idea what he'd do to me had I drank that, and I don't really want to know. I'm still a bit creeped out about the situation. I did delete Tinder, and I'm very glad I didn't give him my phone number or my address. He did offer to pick me up, and I cleverly said no, yet dumbly told him that the coffee place we met up is walking distance to my apartment, so he knows the area I live in, as well as my first and last name and where I study. I don't think there's anything I can do about it though. Sorry. I'm apparently out of breath today. I seriously doubt he even gave me his real name to the random Tinder guy who lied to me and probably tried to drug me. Let's not meet. And to the kind guy who made me aware of the situation, thank you very much. Yeah, that is absolutely terrifying. Never, ever leave your drinks unattended. Ever. Even if you think you know the person, just don't. It's not worth the risk. And if you have any suspicions that you've been spiked, don't drink it. Sorry, hang on. My kitten has now come to say hello and is chasing the wires of the mic. And my hand. Ow. So, if the kitten will allow me to continue, the next one is called Robbed Violently. They murdered the next guy. I was 16 and I had met this kid down the street from my house. He said he saw me around and we should hang out. I figured, why not? So I gave him my number and told him to hit me up. The next week comes around and I get a text from him asking if I wanted to play basketball. Of course I did. He asked if I smoked the devil's lettuce. I did, and asked me to bring some, which isn't out of the ordinary for teenagers. I brought a couple of friends since we were going to play sports. To be honest, I was really fucking stoned by the time I got there. It was a little out of our neighbourhood, but it wasn't a bad hood, so I wasn't bothered. I was an idiot. It was a gang who ambushed us as soon as we got out of the car. They violently beat me and my two friends, and I got it the worst. There were 3 of them on each of us. They stabbed my best friend, not very bad. They choked me unconscious, held a gun to my head and pistol whipped me. They ran my pockets and got my cell phone and wallet. I swear at one point I actually died because I literally shit myself when I went unconscious. I swelled shut later. They had to wake me up because I drove a stick shift and nobody could drive my car. My attacker literally had to resuscitate me in order for me to leave. I stopped at a gas station because I literally shit in my pants and I couldn't see with blood in my eyes. As soon as I got in, the clerk's jaw dropped. "Where's the bathroom?" I said. He pointed the way. I cleaned up as best I could, then drove home. I got home, called the cops, and showered. The cops obviously thought it was my fault for being an idiot. Nonetheless, an undercover showed up and knew exactly who robbed me because we lived on the same street, 2 blocks apart. Turns out they had turned him informant and he renegade on the deal and robbed the buyers in the controlled buy. I told them how violent they were and swore they would kill someone. I did a photo lineup, but they all looked the same to me, so no case. 2 months later, the cops knock on the door. My mum was super broke up and told them I was asleep in my room and turned them loose on me. They woke me up and held up a photo and said, "Who's this?" Me. How would I know? I've never seen that person before. You called this person from your cell phone. Me. The cell phone that I reported stolen in a violent robbery to the police. They looked stunned and stupid. Me. They beat me almost to death. You should probably go read that police report. They apologised and explained that my cell phone had been used to set up a robbery and the person in the photo had been shot to death. Me. I told you guys they would kill the next guy. They came in blazing glory and left in shame. I have PTSD now and have kept tabs on my assailant for 17 years. I have no ability to trust anyone, not even those closest to me. Let's not meet again. Jesus, that was heavy, that poor guy and his friends. That's terrifying. The next one is called The Tinder Stalker. I matched with a man on Tinder one day. The conversation got spicy and I gave him my number so we can continue chatting. We texted that night. We never exchanged photos or nudes or anything like that. Never made plans to meet. The conversation died and I forgot about them. Weeks go by and I deleted the conversation. Then, late one night, I get a lewd photo of a man I don't recognise. I think of insulting them, but decide to just delete it and not respond. A few weeks later, I get another one. I have the idea to check my deleted messages to make sure I don't know them. Sure enough, I find out it's the Tinder guy. It's really weird of them to text me a month later, just lewd images, after no contact or anything for over a month. Ew. So I blocked them. A couple of weeks later, I get a lewd video on my Apple what a weirdo, I think. A week later, I leave my apartment to go on a walk. I see him. He is right there in front of my apartment, walking towards me. He has the same outfit as his profile pictures and same tattoos and hat, so I am certain it is him. I never mentioned where I lived. I'm freaked out, but I'm dressed in baggy clothes and recently changed up my hair colour, so I keep my head down in hopes he doesn't recognise me. I walk right past him. I was too scared to look at him to see his reaction if he recognised me. I was too scared to look back in his direction to see where he went, so I just kept walking forward. I was severely freaked out, but nothing else happened after that and I never saw him again. I never mentioned where I lived, so my only thought is he must have used my phone number to look me up. It was the least likely person I would have expected. Just some random person I messaged for only one day on Tinder. Even with the lewd content they sent, I still just thought they were a regular perv. I never expected them to somehow show up at my apartment. They didn't even text a word to me or attempt to meet up. They just sent lewds over 2 months and then appeared. It's just so random and weird. I think their motive was definitely something sexually perverted. It gives me the creeps to think about what they wanted, but I'm glad they left me alone. I never give out my real phone number to dates anymore. I'm just having a look through the comments because I'm going to be honest, like, unless this man didn't live anywhere near it, or didn't live anywhere near OP, like, could it not just be a coincidence that she's seen him in the street and because he sent those pictures she's like heightened awareness and it's just like totally coincidence? I mean, sending the pictures is disgusting and yeah, creepy. I don't know, maybe OP is right and he did somehow find her like information, but like if she's only seen him once, if he'd really found the information, would he not like keep hanging round? I don't know, but I can totally understand why OP is freaked out over this and scared, because I would be too, but I always try and think of like other explanations for things happening so that I don't have to think the worst. So yeah, I think I'll do one more. Okay, so this is the last one, and it's called My Dad's Stalker Brought Us Presents. I recently read a story on Let's Not Meet that brought back old memories of my dad's crazy ex-girlfriend. This took place when I was around 8 to 9 years old, so I guess it would have been the year 1997. My parents had gotten divorced several years prior to, so me and my little sister, 2 years younger, used to stay with our dad every other weekend. One day, he introduced us to his new girlfriend, Rachel. who was a tall, blonde woman that had apparently won some kind of beauty pageant or something. I remember those first months of getting to know Rachel as fun. She seemed like a nice lady. I also think my initial impression of her was helped by the fact that she had a rather cuddly grey parrot and a pet raven that could talk, which of course made my younger self quite ecstatic. But after a while, things started to change. I began to notice she could be a bit odd at times, saying weird things or acting a bit strangely. We started seeing her less frequently when staying with our dad. Then one day he told us they'd broke up and that we wouldn't be seeing her anymore. He also told us we shouldn't talk to her or go home with her if she showed up at school. That's weird. Like, why would she show up at the school? Not long after that, Rachel really started harassing my dad. She would randomly turn up at places we went to visit during weekends, trying to talk with us. She called him non-stop on the phone when we were at home, crying, making threats. It usually didn't stop until he pulled the plug. Years later, I found out she had even threatened to kill me and my sister on several occasions, and that Dad had got a restraining order. Rachel also keyed my dad's car, broke it into his company to trash it, and stole a lot of money that he never got back. She even started writing threatening letters to my mum. My parents have always been good friends ever since the divorce, and it all culminated with a letter from the authorities. A letter accusing my dad of being a child molester. Wow. That's awful. I still vividly remember how my mum sat us down in our room holding the letter, a deep look of concern on her face, asking if Dad had ever touched us inappropriately, which of course he never has. It later turned out that it was Rachel who had falsely accused him of such an attempt. Sorry, it was Rachel who had falsely accused him of such in an attempt to prevent him from seeing us. I remember feeling angry and upset that she had gone to such lengths. The last memory I have of Rachel was a few weeks before Christmas. We were staying at my dad's place over the weekend. It was a 2-story apartment complex with a large window spanning an entire wall, floor to ceiling, in the living room where we had just sat down to watch TV. Next to the window there was a glass door leading onto a stone patio, bordering a lawn that ended with a tall hedge. And on this particular day, the outdoor lights had been switched off, which means it was pitch black outside, as the intro to Superman started playing. A while into the episode, I suddenly heard a strange, sharp noise coming from the window. It sounded like something was clawing on the glass in an attempt to get in. The sofa I was sitting on was placed right in front of the window, so I had my back toward it. When I slowly turned around to look over my shoulder, my heart thumping in my chest, hairs standing on end as if I was being watched, but all that came into view was a pitch black darkness lurking behind my own reflection. By this point, Dad had also heard the sound and gotten up to turn on the patio lights. When outside suddenly flooded with light, I found myself staring into the face of a smiling blonde woman peering into our living room. Need I tell you that I screamed? Both me and my sister flew up from the couch like it had been scorched with fire. When I looked towards the window again, I saw Rachel. Bit of kitten pairing ASMR for you there. When I looked toward the window again, I saw Rachel with both of her hands up against the glass, tightly cupped beside her face, as she was trying to look inside. The patio door was right next to her. I tugged on Dad's shirt and whispered if the door was locked when she reached toward the handle. The millisecond of doubt flashing across my dad's face still haunts me to this day. Rachel truly looked like a mad woman as she furiously jerked on the handle in an attempt to get in, briefly pausing to peer through the glass now and again. I remember thinking Dad looked oddly calm as he ushered us around a corner wall, telling us to stay out of sight. As he walked toward the patio door, we begged him not to go outside, thinking she could have a knife hidden somewhere. So he opened up a small crack with the door, firmly holding onto the handle, and asked what the hell she was doing in his backyard. She tried to get him to let her in, putting on a big smile, tossing her hair, but Dad obviously wouldn't budge, telling her to leave or he would call the cops, to which she eventually conceded, leaving a bunch of Christmas presents behind. When Rachel was out of sight from the window, Dad went out to make sure she was gone, picking up what she had left behind on his way back. None of us wanted anything to do with the presents. So sorry, that was Oliver. None of us wanted anything to do with the presents. Something just felt really off about them, so they ended up still fully wrapped in the trash. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, but I have to know what was in those presents if that was me. Like, the dark true crime horror fanatic inside me is like, definitely a severed body part or something. But yeah, I'd have to know. Maybe some teddies or something like that, dolls with a hidden camera to spy on them. Oh, there's definitely a horror film in this. Let me know in the comments what you think might have been in those presents. That's the last story. I am so sorry about the animal noises. Thank you, Oliver. I don't know who I think I am, thinking I can record ASMR with my gang animals. And Oliver is just proving my point. Thanks, mate. I have found, whilst recording this, I've found an interesting looking series. I've seen at least 4 posts in that series so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and record those. I don't know whether I'll do 1 per video, maybe 2, depends how long they are. And I'm gonna post those over the next couple of weeks. Probably instead of true crime, just for a couple of weeks, because I am going in for a nerve block injection into my lower back this week. I've never had one before. I am terrified, and I've been told it's not the most pleasant of experiences, and I might be a bit sore for a few days, so I'm probably not going to get a true crime out this week. But we'll see. Maybe it goes better than I'm expecting, and maybe I'll be up to doing some research. But I'm going to record this Let's Not Meet series for you, and then I can get that out in case I can't record, because something's better than nothing, eh? So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that the cats and the dog weren't too loud. I did try and edit out, and I did try and sort that, but you know, I'm still learning. So I'm sorry, and here comes Oliver now for a cuddle. So yeah, I will see you in the next video.